Back, crime fighters. I'm Ray the DA, and this is the latest edition of Intern News. And with us today is Jacqueline Mayer, or Jacqueline. We kind of dress you up a little bit here, or Jackie, right? Mm-hmm. Good. Yes. So we're pretty well into the internship, yes, and we can see the end in sight, as George Strait would say. And so tell me, what have been a couple of the highlights for you?
I think the biggest highlights are going to court with, well, recently we had a larger trial, and it was a 3-day trial, and I sat through pretty much the entire trial. And
what'd you learn?
I feel like I learned a lot about the types of interactions that the defense and the prosecution have, and I learned that it's not exactly like it is on TV.
Oh yeah? What's the difference?
Well, I thought that the kind of stuff that was important in these cases would be technicalities. I thought that's how people got off, was because of the technicality. Mm-hmm. But the defendant in the case that we just went in had a completely new story that he made up. And I just didn't think that kind of stuff would happen. I guess I'm naive.
Well, one of the things that's interesting is you probably are learning that the defense has its role, the prosecution has its role, the judge has his or her role, and the jury has a significant role, because they're the real decision makers. And proving somebody guilty beyond a reasonable doubt is a pretty substantial hurdle to overcome, because it's very difficult to get two people to agree on a lot of things. And when you put 12 in, and they all have to agree, sometimes it becomes difficult, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of what we saw in that case, because the person it was a hung jury.
Yes.
What does that mean?
That means that the jury could not agree unanimously.
Right. And so that's kind of where it is. Now, it's when there's a hung jury, or even if somebody is found not guilty, that doesn't really mean they didn't do it. What that means is that there wasn't sufficient amount of evidence to convince the jury beyond a reasonable doubt that he did it. And because you often hear jurors say, "I know he did it, but it just wasn't proven." See? So what's your reaction to that?
It's so hard seeing it from our point of view, because the jurors don't see everything. Not everything gets into every case. And so there's certain things, like they're not allowed to look him up when they're on the jury, but they can afterwards. So there's so many things that we know that if they heard, yes. So if they heard that, they would be 100% on board. So it's really interesting to see them work through the facts that have been given to them. Mm-hmm. But it's also really hard to watch knowing what we know.
All right. Good. So have you had a good experience?
Yes, I have.
Good. Well, we've sure loved having you here. You're a bright-eyed, smart girl, and are we glad that Jackie's with us this summer. So see you next time.